CP3, Robbie G, Caps, post game live, Capitals talk, Capitals defeat the New York Islanders 3-1 to tie for first place to end the Islanders' 9 game winning streak and extend the Capitals to a 6 game winning streak. Robbie G, how you feeling after this impressive victory tonight?
Doing well, yeah. So we're live here now on Facebook as well. I got CP3 here and an exciting end to an exciting hockey game. We thought there was a chance that they might get the back-to-back shutouts, but it wasn't meant to be. But TJ Oshie started the scoring early with the seventh goal of the season. Kuzi looked like he had a great move. He faked the slapper, forced our old friend Simeon Varlamov to come up and be frozen at the top of his crease. Then he moved around him and he shot, and it looked like it was going to be an easy goal, but it just hits off the post. But TJ Oshie never gives up on the play and just nice tap in. Sort of an easy goal for him, kind of like the night before where TJ Oshie did all the work and Nicholas Backstrom got the nice tap in. So it was nice for Oshie to get the reward this time. It was Kuznetsov's ninth assist and Alexander Ovechkin's 11th assist, putting him at 1,300 points all time, only being the second player ever to get to 1,300 points with already have had a 700 goals. So that's kind of cool. Then he wanted to get on the board himself. At 15-24, he did just that on the power play from the circle. His 12th goal of the season, assisted by Justin Schultz at his 11th, and Nicholas Backstrom, his 21st assist already of the season. Made it 2-0. So that was all in the second period. In the third period, right away, power play to start the period. Nicholas Backstrom scores on this beautiful feed, give and go kind of. Nicholas Backstrom below the goal line feeds it out to Jacob Piranha, and then he just kind of crosses over the mouth of the goal and distracts the goalie just enough, and then a perfect pass by Verana right down the seam, and Backstrom tips it in for his 12th goal. So him and Ovechkin keep on going back and forth with the goal scoring lead on the Capitals. They both now have 12. Yesterday, they both scored their 11th. Verana's 11th assist of the season. John Carlson's 19th assist of the season. Then just a few minutes later, the Islanders scored, but they were able to shut it down after that. Samsonov was able to stop, I believe, 21 of 22 shots tonight, almost having back-to-back shutouts. Last night on our podcast, if anybody missed it, go back and check it out. I actually clipped up the Capitals segment. It's live on our page. But they scored their fifth goal of a 6-0 shutout right as we started our fifth year anniversary special. So I encourage people to go check that out. Carol, with all that being said, what were some of your thoughts on tonight's game?
Uh, we spoke about this team playing 60 minutes and keeping the intensity from the start to the end. And I feel like we saw that tonight. We spoke about the push that the Islanders got in the first. We can attribute that to the Caps back to back travel. Islanders were sitting at the hotel chilling, so they got their first push. Capitals withstood it, and then came alive in the second period, which I believe they're the top scoring team in the second by putting up two. And then we've seen it all before, a couple of times this season. They'll have a they'll have a lead and find a way to either get the game tied or give up the lead. And we saw how hot the Islanders are, especially they're a better team at home and on the road, but they won a 9 game winning streak, playing good hockey. Lost their captain Anders Lee and still didn't miss a beat. And we've seen Barry Trotz teams and any other teams come in and be able to swing the momentum in their favor in the third. But I can say that didn't happen. The Islanders did get a late goal. We were hoping for that shutout, but the Capitals played a great game of hockey tonight, and Samsonov, that onslaught in the first period, he definitely, was stellar. And we spoke about, should we have Double V play or Samsonov, with Double V going back to back. And like Robbie said, get Samsonov in there. He made a point that possibly, Double V coming off the back to back might not have been as crisp to stop some of those shots, and I gotta give him that. So I think going with Samsonov was a good move, and Glad the Caps get to extend their winning streak to 6 and ending the Islanders streak at 9.
Yeah, two hottest teams in the NHL facing off. Everyone was saying, well, save some goals in the basket last night. Make sure that you play double V. They weren't able to save goals and they weren't able to play double V, but we were able to get the win, and that's the important thing. And I think it's important to get both of them rolling. If they're 1A, 1B sort of situation, you don't know who you're going to have. It's still only the halfway point of the season. We have 4 games this week, including 2 back-to-back situations. So both goalies should get 2 games. I think that's the right decision overall. Just some really, I thought, great play between both of these teams. It was just a classic battle. A couple other points about Ovechkin hitting the 1,300 mark. He's only the 20th player in NHL history to reach it in less than 1,200 games played. He did it 1,177. And then a second active player to reach it. Only Joe Thornton is the only other one to do so. And then among the 35 players in NHL history with at least 1,300 points, Ovechkin's 1.1 points per game ranks 14th, so that's pretty good. And then the other player I was talking about who had been able to have 700 goals before getting 1,300 points was Brett Hull with 705. Yeah, he's some of an elite company there, and it's just a pleasure to get to watch him every night. And I'm just really pleased with how this team is coming together to win 6 in a row after the big injury to Tom Wilson, or not injury, to a big suspension on Tom Wilson. We had an injury to Lars Eller a couple of games ago, so he was out tonight as well. But they just keep on rolling, and they're kind of finding ways to win. So that's exciting.
We've also got to shout out Nick Backstrom again, double shifting tonight, playing center. Locker was saying, I can't even remember the stat that he gave, but basically he was double shifted and he was all over the ice tonight. He was key in scoring plays. He was key on defenses. He's always been a great 200-foot player, offensive zone, defensive zone, neutral zone. He plays solid defense. He's hard. He doesn't look like he's that big, but he's a real physical, dude when he gets to trying to get to the puck. So definitely got to give a shout out to him. You were mentioning Brett Hull, I believe, with that power play goal that Ovi scored, that only puts him 1 goal behind Brett Hull for the all-time power play goal, I believe. I got to double check, but I believe that makes it 1 more goal. So he has another milestone around the corner. That just speaks to his greatness. It's a COVID shortened season, and it's like every time we look up, Ovi's, amassing another milestone, and he's just going about his business. And I've said it many times before, it's amazing that this man has only missed like 12 games in his whole 16-year career, about how physical, due to injury, that is. As how physical he plays, and he still continues to play at a top level. He's got 12 goals on the year now, quiet.
He was having a down year just about 6 games ago, but in the last 6 games, I believe he's had 5 goals. You'd only had about 7, I think, up until that point, or something like that. So, he's kind of heating up, as a lot of people actually predicted he would heat up towards the middle of the season. So that's coming true. One thing I want to note is Orlov is playing better lately, and his family, I know, has come back to the States, and now Ovechkin's family has come back to the States, and Ovechkin seems to be playing better, and he has more fire. You saw some of that energy and fire today, and so I think that they really enjoy playing for their loved ones as well, and I think that shouldn't be overlooked. I know it's not something you can see on the ice, but I'm seeing dividends paying off from their home life, and so I'm happy to see them being happy is contributing to the success of the Washington Capitals.
Yeah, I think, with the situation with Panarin, and, we talked about the situation over in Russia, you never know what could happen, and, having that in the back of your mind, and even though when you're playing the game, you focus on the game, those thoughts are still there. They're still human. They're not robots who can just turn off their emotions just because they're playing the game. It's still, subconscious level or whatever you want to call it. But, knowing your, loved ones are safe, you don't, have anything to worry about but playing hockey. I would definitely give Olaf some kudos. I was watching him closer tonight, and he was making some good plays, solid defensively. He wasn't trying to overdo it on offense. He jumped up in the play when it was necessary. he wasn't trying to do too much. So I definitely, I've been one of his toughest critics, but I'm also going to give him a shout out when he's playing well, just like on the
And
Stanley Cup
Kuzi's been
run.
playing. And Kuzi's been playing well too. I thought that Kuzi made some great plays tonight. He's starting to look a little better. I know people were souring on him just a couple of games ago, and
Well,
I
he had
think
to get himself together too. He missed a couple of games, so I mean, coming off of his off season, he had some growing to
and
do.
then,
So
yeah, and COVID hit him hard, just like it hit Sam hard. And people expected these guys to bounce right back. And, this is like the highest level of hockey. And you just can't flip a switch as much as we want them to. The other team, as we always talk about, gets paid to play as well. It's not just like, automatic we show up and we're going to win the game. It takes a lot of effort. But before we head out of here, I know that it's a recap, but there has been some breaking Washington football team news that has hit the market after our podcast. I really do hope that people go back and check out our 5-year anniversary special. sportsothp.com has all your links for that. But break down the big Washington football team news from today, and then we'll let all of our viewers go.
yes, if you haven't noticed or haven't been on social media, the Washington football team has signed Ryan Fitzpatrick to a 1-year, $10 million deal with incentives as much as $12 million. For some reason, fans are going berserk because they feel like they see what New England is doing with the moves that they're making and money that they're spending. And first move that the Washington football team makes is Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's a journeyman quarterback, played for over half of the teams in the league. But he's a veteran presence. Nobody said he's going to be the starter. He's brought in to compete with Heineke and Allen and whoever else they may draft or pick up through free agency. I saw a couple of other rumors today. I'm not going to speak on them because it's still speculation. But the football all season is ready to rock and roll. As I mentioned last night, we will be doing a football off-season broadcast probably after the start of season 6, because that's when I get off restriction on Facebook and can stream live again. It's a long story, people that don't ask me questions.
Well, I appreciate that. We have a ton of people watching live. I was actually able to, send it out live today. I really appreciate it. Somebody saying Ryan Fitzpatrick, seriously, for Pete's sake. I agree. I don't think he's your guy for 16 games, but maybe he can mentor the young guys. And he has these great moments where if you ask him to do too much, he'll throw an interception. But if you ask him to manage a game, a la what we were asking Alex Smith to do last year, he can actually be pretty effective. Now, it's funny. He's got sometimes as a starter, I don't think he's as good as a guy who comes in almost like a pinch hitter, or a guy that comes in the clutch. It'll be interesting to see how he does the starting role, which has been, I would say, hit or miss for him during his career. But let's see how he does with this coach, and let's see who we draft and see who he can help mentor. And we've got other players on the roster too, so this might not be the only move. But we appreciate everyone for tuning in. Tony said that they're starting to play full 60 minutes, and you can see what happens. I agree with that. My dad was saying go Caps and go Zach. Yeah, Zach was watching the whole game with me. He enjoyed it. Then they said this is the best game they played all season against a good Islanders team. What a great night. Mike said that. And then Mike Stepp also said he's liked Orlov for a while, and he loved how he's elevated his game, and Kuzi too. Yeah, I agree with all of that. So he's like, I don't know why I'm upset or surprised. My Redskins have been dead for a while now. Now Dan Snyder's killed the Redskins, so I really don't care anymore. There are people that feel that way.
That's cool. You know how I feel about that whole hate for Dan Snyder. That's cool. All I'm gonna say to that is, when you see the change, you're seeing the change, and when this team starts dominating again within the next 2 or 3 years, don't come back, because you got to ride with the team through the good and bad. You can be a fan and you can play the Dan Snyder ruined the team. You can play the name game or whatever excuse you want to make. But you see the changes going on. They're not going to make a splash in the first couple of days. This isn't Vinny Serrato. This isn't the early 2000s. You have a football coach with a football mind, with a football front office now. They're going to make calculated moves. They had the fourth most money to spend in free agents. Think about that. They're not going out there making flashy moves. They're making calculated moves. They have the draft coming up. So it's not all about the first day of free agency. You also have to remember there are going to be some cuts that's going to happen because of COVID, because of the salary cap isn't going up this year. So there's a lot of other things that's going to play into it. So all of this early stuff, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Just buckle up, sit back, relax, and watch this team improve. And I know Robbie wants to get it short, so I'm gonna end on that because I can go football all day long.
I know we could go for a long time, but I want to just give one last shout out for the Capitals. I appreciate what they were wearing today. They looked good. They did good. We'll leave it at that. I understand people's frustration with the team. I do think that they're improving. I'd like to see, give us a couple of years with new coach, new system, moving some of the players out that were part of the regime before and see what we could do. But a great Caps talk, a little bit of Washington football team news. Mike says I'm a third generation Redskins fan. I have 3 Redskins tattoos. He says that he's a diehard fan. I'm not questioning.
That's what it's all about, baby.
Yeah. So we're not questioning your fandom. He says he's still not coming back because they changed the name. All right. All right. We'll save this for some.
We can have that for another debate.
Yeah, we'll see that. But I appreciate everyone for tuning in live. It's been fun. I appreciate Carol for jumping in for the recap and for the Washington football team. And we'll talk to you guys next week. And appreciate it. And he says he likes the jersey. So Tony says. So I appreciate that, Tony. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Let's go Caps. We've got a busy week coming up. Got a couple more games. 2 more against the Rangers Friday and Saturday. We'll get Tom Wilson back for the Saturday game. So we'll see how that works out. And see how they shift those lines. Hopefully it'll be good, and we'll talk about that on the next episode of Sports and Little Podcast next Monday at 9 o'clock. Carol, have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, later. You're watching my feed. I'm going to drop a video, and then I'm out.
Money, I love that money.
Lucas.
Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. You don't really want to play. Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you been talking about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. It's money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't want to be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. Money, 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 make you shut him off. Don't never ever talk about it if you never had the clout. You don't know what to say, stay up out of my way. Cause money, 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 make them shut them off. Keep playing with these goonies, boy, I'm gonna have to make the call. Stay in bounds on your pivot, boy, if you gon' ball. Cause a lot of niggas be fake, and you really can't play. Cause we done got it out the mud, nigga, what you talking about? Screaming, oh my God, money got me pride. They living a lie, look into my eyes, they might seem surprised. This is homicide. We just multiply. We been on the rise. If we got some wings, fuck it, we gon' have to fly. Money, 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 what I'm talking about. Day in my life, I take me a different route. And use all my cash, niggas on my face. You can get it erased, what you talking about? Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you been talking about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. You never crossing these borders. I'm whipping it up, Gordon Ramsay, I swear that I'm cooking these orders. You talk about me, you better just hope that you can just really afford it. I'm ballin', I'm winning, I'm feeling like Robert Horry. Nigga, I'm scoring, I count in the morning. They talk about me, then I gotta ignore it. My bitches be foreign, so independent, my money be corporate. These rappers is boring. You hate me and I'm always gonna adore it. I'm smoking that soaring. She always go ahead, let me explore it. I call her my Dora. You can go and talk about me, I ain't flawless. I go put my all in. If a nigga talk about me, then I'm gone in. You know that I'm gone in. Jump in, take trips, Pompeii, all day, always keep 3 stacks like Andre. I get it, I get it, I get it, I get it, man. And you can never, ever, ever get rid of that. So watch what you say, and watch how you do. If you play the game, then you play by the rules. Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you been talking about. And you don't really wanna play, you don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really wanna play, you don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. I don't get this motherfucker right.